G'day, you lot. How is everybody? Hope you're well. Harrison here. Welcome to the Arabian Pleb. Today is Sunday, the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you. It is 2 p.m. We here in Australia just had a federal election, and the incumbent, is that how you say it? I don't know. The government was re-elected, so Labor won, and looks like they won in a landslide, which is pretty loose. So that's pretty wild. The coalition, the Liberal Party, which is effectively our supposedly conservative party, which is a crock of crap because they're not conservatives by any stretch of the imagination. They always increase spending and increase regulations and impose their will on everybody. Not really conservative, in my opinion, at all. But they got hammered. They got absolutely hammered. But so maybe a little bit later, we'll look through some of the data and the vote tallies and all that fun stuff. But what I want to do first is let's head over and just look at the markets and look at how gold closed for the week and silver and the Aussie dollar, etc. So I'm going to jump over. Oh, hang on. No, let me just fix that up. That's a little broken at the moment. Give me 1 second. Rightio then. That's a little better. Sorry about that. So just looking at gold. Mad pullback. Happy to see that, to be honest. It was getting crazy a couple of weeks ago. So we're back down just above $5,000 and $5,028.41 per troy ounce of gold. God's money, as Robert Kiyosaki would say. So that's good. That's good to see. Definitely want to see pullbacks. These are buying opportunities for people who have not yet purchased gold or for people who want to add to their stack. Now I'll jump over to silver, again just in Aussie dollars. No surprise, pullback pretty much in line with gold as well. So just below $50, $49.66 Aussie. That's pretty good. Let's have a look at gold in US dollars. And interestingly enough, even though we also had a pullback, but on the day, it did actually close positive on this last trading day of the week. So we're at $3,240.61 US. And jump over to silver in US dollars. $31 and just under 32, 31.99, $31.99 for a troy ounce of silver in US dollars. So not bad at all. Good to see some pullbacks. Now, I just want to quickly jump over to the Aussie dollar. My cat is doing some business. Hopefully it's not a massive shit that I have to go clean up. So, no, there she goes. Must have just had to do a wee. So, Aussie dollars. What am I looking at? Yeah, the Aussie dollar against the US dollar. So we're above that 64.16 cents, which I have that trend line plotted there, which seemed to be a pretty crucial area of resistance. But we've busted above it, which is nice, and closed above it. So that's good for the Aussies out there. We've been getting crushed for ages. It's been, how long's it been? It's been, we're getting crushed before this, but just the most recent, the previous swing high back in February 2021, God damn it. So it's just been a heartbreaking sell-off and steady decline since February 2021. That's terrible. So hopefully there's some stoppage to the bleeding, to the hemorrhaging of the Aussie dollar against the US dollar, but we'll see. Let's just see how things play out over the next days, weeks, and months. But good to see a close above that 64.16 cent area. Let's have a look at the US dollar, the Dixie. just try and get through these quite quickly. But yeah, so the US dollar has not been performing well really since, what are we talking? Since the start of this year, the 13th of January. It's been selling off quite consistently. And if you're anywhere outside of the US, you want this trend to continue. We want to see that continue to sell off. Let's go. Let's get it back down to 95, 92, and 90. And then if we break 90, really, like what's the next stop? The next level of support is, it looks like what I've got plotted here is 70 on the DXY, but I'll just go back to a weekly chart and see. Yeah, it really is like maybe like around 80. I mean, there's a few little kind of valleys here at 88. So I reckon like once we really break 88 on the DXY, the next stop is probably 80, and then if we break that, we're looking at 70. So I would love to see that. Sorry, my US brothers and sisters, but yous have had it way too good for way too long, and let the foreigners take over for a little bit. Come on, give us a little bit of breathing space, you bastards. Okay, I think that's pretty good for the markets for now. So I'll jump over to some other stuff. It looks like it's a real real bloodbath, like a serious decimation of the Liberal National Party. I mean, I'm no bloody political scientist, but bloody hell, like, fuck, come on, look at this shit. Have a go at this. The ALP, the Australian Labor Party, it needed 76 votes to win, and it smashed it by it's smashed it 85 seats. Sorry, 76 seats to win, 85 seats. It's won. The LNP 37, Greens 0, and I guess these are independents. Just try and click on it there. I don't know, whatever. But I guess they're independents. Oh God. So the funniest thing too is that Peter Dutton, who was the leader of the opposition, I believe his seat is Dickens, and he's lost his seat. So let's go down to Dickens. He's out. He's out of the government. Look at that. 56.7% to 43.3%, a swing of 8.4% to the Labor Party. That is hilarious. And obviously I'm a libertarian, I'm an anarchist, so I think all these people are scumbags, but so this isn't an endorsement of Labor in any way. And Labor is shocking on digital ID, privacy, on taxation, on energy policy, and this stupid, disgusting, spastic push for green energy and renewable energy, which is just a failure, and it's just going to increase everyone's cost of living and increase through the price of energy and everyone's living expenses. But the Liberal Party is just shameful. How they also signed on to the net zero emissions policy. They basically endorse the vast majority of things that Labor proposes. What's Tom Wood say? Like, it's basically in all politics, and this is the same. This goes for Australian politics as well. Is that there's like a 3x5 card of allowable opinion, and so they have like these two supposedly opposition parties that are diametrically opposed, supposedly, have these fierce debates within this tiny window of allowable opinion, and anything outside of that is just considered radical, dissident, far right extremism, far left extremism. And so they put on this facade, this charade, they're just like acting. It's like WWF wrestling or something, or WWE or whatever, they make out like they're so opposed and such a massive difference, and there's an ocean of difference between these two major parties, but in effect, the way that they actually govern, that's not true at all. And that the vast majority of the time, they are in lockstep with one another with the major crucial issues. So yeah, but you know what? Like in my opinion, I'm happy that Dutton didn't get in because I just see him as like such a snake and someone who really tries to pose as this conservative right winger, almost a Trump like candidate. But in reality, he's a career politician, he's an ex police officer, he's a fucking cop, dude. And he would have been even more terrible for the country. And I'm not saying, again, this isn't an endorsement of Labor or Anthony Albanese, but I think he would have been worse than Albo. And that's really saying something because Albo's terrible. Anthony Albanese is a god-awful prime minister. I mean, I'd be hard-pressed to give you a list of any good prime ministers of Australia, but I think Dutton would have uniquely been god-awful. Like really, really fucking bad. So I think that Albo getting back in is not good at all for the country. This is awful. This is really fucking uh, not great. But in the scheme of things, there's not going to be much change. It's just going to be the same old, usual things chugging along, bad policies getting through. I mean, I'm curious to see how Albo goes about his implementation of a national digital ID and these things that they've been floating around for a couple of years now. And I guess Labor now really has a mandate to push forward with a lot of their policy proposals that might not have gotten up yet, or maybe they didn't really bring them to the forefront just in fear of being a little too controversial. But now that they've been re-elected, like they might not be so hesitant to go ahead with some of these fucked up, invasive, globalist, really, in nature, because these things are being pushed all around the world. And in many cases, it seems like Australia is the testing ground for some of this dystopian, Orwellian visions that these politicians have that they're really wanting to impose on all of us. So, goodness gracious. Another day in Australia, another election that I couldn't give two fucks about, really. And I wish I didn't have to even talk about this crap because I just think that it's such fucking bullshit and it's such a violation of the principles that I really care about and stand for. But this is the reality. This is the reality of the country that I live in. And I do love this country. You know, I have to stress too that none of this is a knock on the people. I love what Dave Smith says quite often, that generally speaking, any where he's coming from, and I feel the exact same way, I'm always on the side of innocent people and against the power, against the governments, the people, the those that are in positions of power that rule over the rest of us, you know? And I know that there's a good argument to be made about people, your average person who supports these tyrannical dictators, to put it quite frankly. I know some people will take issue with that. No, it's a democracy. It's not, they're not dictators, but shut the fuck up. All democracy is the majority rule and God help the minority. But the point being that I forgot my point, but basically, fuck them all. Bunch of scumbag, criminal bastards. And I hope one day most people just disengage. Oh, I remember my point. Sorry. The people that support the system, some people will say that they're just as guilty as the criminals in power doing the fucked up shit. But again, like Dave Smith says, that people are easily propagandized. So, given that that's the case, I would be more lenient and I would be more hesitant and more uh, want to reasonably give the benefit of the doubt uh, to most average Australians, even if they support fucked up things. More often than not, and I know that there's an exception to this as well, but more often than not, they've been propagandized, and so that's the purpose of doing these recordings and putting out a podcast and is to try to spread a message and get the word out that this whole system is corrupt and fucked and that we shouldn't be supporting it and that there are alternatives out there and there is a different way of looking at the world where we can be more in alignment with morality and the truth and want to support things that are in alignment with not stealing from people, not murdering people, not kidnapping people, and not plundering people, and disregard anyone who is advocating to the contrary of that and advocating for plundering people, murdering people, stealing from people. So that's the point of all this, right? Because at its core, that is what government is. Government is effectively a criminal gang who plunder, steal, kidnap, and enslave the vast majority of their subjects. But just quickly, let's go back to Dutton. Look at this. Look at this. There's my cursor. There we go. Dutton Gonskis. I think that's hilarious. Sucked into him. Catch you later, mate. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. That's fantastic. Fucking so funny. I don't know that that's ever happened before. An opposition leader not only losing the election, but losing his seat in Parliament. Good riddance. Catch ya. Catch ya, mate. Fucking great. Fantastic. I just seen online as well that Adam Bant, the leader of the Greens, has also lost his seat. He's also out of Parliament. So good riddance. Catch you later, Adam Bant. See you later, mate. Fucking piss off. He was one of the worst. Like, seriously, like, fucking, you'd hear him talk and crap on about all his, none of the Greens are any good. They're all a bunch of fucking dickheads and would, if given the chance, if they had power, they would even quickly, even much faster would destroy this country and drive everyone's cost of living way through the roof, their energy policies and all that crap. The only thing that they'd be good on is drugs, but and the legalization of cannabis, and maybe some other drugs as well. But they're just way too goofy. They're just and I think that they really would encourage degeneracy. And I know some people be like, oh, but legalizing drugs is encouraging degeneracy in general, but that's not necessarily true at all. My position is, and like the libertarian anarchist position on drugs is just that making drugs illegal, like the status quo, like having all these drugs illegal, doesn't solve the problem of people taking drugs anyway. All it does is it puts those drugs into the black market and into criminals' hands to regulate them, or to control the distribution and the quality, and gives rise to criminals. And so and then also criminalizes just normal people, average people who want to use these drugs, and it's not to advocate for the use of drugs. It's just a recognition that outlawing it doesn't solve the problem and isn't going to. You're never going to stop people wanting to do drugs. It's the same philosophy with the prohibition of alcohol, that during the prohibition period, it didn't stop people from drinking. All it did was turned law-abiding citizens into criminals, those that wanted to drink, and gave rise to criminal gangs and organizations like Al Capone. So, I'd love to, like, if anyone wants to debate me on that, I'd be more than happy to. But yeah, I think I'm on solid ground and have a solid argument that it's preferable, even if you don't like it, even if you don't like people using drugs, which I'm not the biggest fan of, although I would be a hypocrite to say, that I've never used drugs myself. Like, that's not true at all. So I'm not against it, but I don't like degeneracy. And also I think that you want to set a good standard for children. I think that's the ultimately kind of the thing that people should most want to care about, is protecting kids and making sure that kids don't do these things and engage in these behaviors at a young age, and at least until they're adults, of a legal age, legally adults. And we can debate all that too, like, what should the legal age be where someone is considered an adult? But I'm not going to have that discussion right now. But I'm just saying that, like, yeah, but I think how you best do that is, rather than having criminals control the drugs when you outlaw them and create black markets inevitably, because when criminals control the drugs, they're fucking criminals. They don't really give two rats if you're underage or whatever. Most criminals don't. Most criminals are just going to sell the drugs to whoever's willing to pay for them. But if you had law-abiding citizens and legal businesses in legal markets, distributing and regulating, the sale of these certain drugs, that's it's out in the open more. That's a better way to handle it, for obvious reasons. I could continue on, but getting into a bit of a rant now. But yeah, so that's the one good thing that the Greens are good on, and even that one good thing that they're good on, they're fucking still pretty terrible on it. Really, like, their solutions and policy prescriptions are pretty fucking shit. But that's one thing that they do have on some of the other major parties for sure. But yeah, so Adam Bant, catch a cunt. Peter Dutton, catch a cunt. I do just want to quickly watch Peter Dutton's speech where he's conceding, and I think it'll just be funny, the fact that he's lost his seat as well. So let's just, if it's boring as fuck, whatever, I'll just stop it. But let's just have a little listen and see what's going on.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, tonight's not the night that we wanted for the Liberal Party or for our coalition or indeed for our country. But we've worked hard every day over the course of the last 3 years to do our best for our amazing country. One of the great honours of being the leader of this party is that we have met people from every side, every corner, the length and breadth of this country. And there are many amazing stories. People who have sacrificed, people...
Oh, God, I fucking hate politicians, dude. I don't know if I can do this. It's just such canned responses and scripted crap, and it's not sincere. It's not believable. Fucking shut up, dude. I'll skip ahead.
Proud of his achievement tonight, and he should be very proud of what he's achieved. Thank you. I also had the pleasure of speaking with Ali France, and Ali and I have been...
Boring. What do we got?
The work that they've done. I want to say thank you
I'm going to can this in a second.
Who are just amazing, led by Alex Dalgleish, Jody, Martine, Jackie, Selma, all of the...
All right. Sorry, guys. That's just putrid. I won't put you through any of that. Whatever. All right. I might wrap it up in a minute. Bit of a short one, but just thought it'd be good anyway to utilize my microphone that I paid a bit of money for and just put out a recording because, fuck it. I fucking may as well take advantage of my shit. And I quite like doing these, and I think it's good practice for me because I'm trying to get a little better at public speaking and talking into a microphone to you beautiful people out there. Shout out to anybody who is listening. I really appreciate all you guys and thank you for the support. And if you could do so ever so kindly, hit the like button, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Tell me what I need to improve on, or tell me, whatever. Tell me what I need to improve on. Give me some criticism. Open to that. Love good constructive criticism. Don't just call me a cunt or or a fucking wog and get out of my face, whatever. But if you do, I won't ban you. I won't I will allow your comment, and I'll allow you to leave such criticism because I'm all for free speech and all that sort of fun stuff. But yeah, if you could please leave a comment, maybe let me know what you'd like me to cover. I'm typically into geopolitical things and politics in general, trying now to cover a little bit more local Aussie politics because I feel like I should, because I'm an Aussie, so that makes sense. But also love economics and love sort of spiritual things too, although I'm not that well versed in it, but I love listening to people talking about esotericism and occult things. A really good podcast, if anyone's interested in that stuff, is to listen to the Waking World podcast with Tobias and Dale. They are phenomenal. And I also do another podcast with my good friend Nick, which I think we're going to try and do a recording tomorrow. And that is the Great Retardation podcast, where we like to cover all things geopolitical and also technological. Like my mate Nick is really into hidden technologies that the government has and seems to be keeping from us. Things like 0 point energy. And he sources a lot of that material from guys like Ashton Forbes and who was the other guy? There was a guy who just went on Joe Rogan the other day, and I think we're going to touch on that. But let me just try and just fucking, as Dale would say, just fucking wait there. Don't be so impatient. Just fucking hold on, would yous? Where's fucking Joey Rowe? Where's his podcast? Hang on. Give me a second, all right? Right, I found it. Hal Puthoff. Is it Puthoff? Puthoff. But this one, hang on, I'll bloody share it so that you can see it. I won't play it, but I'll share the screen. But so, Hal, Hal Puthoff, Puthoff. So, yeah, I think we're going to talk a bit about this podcast. Oh, and also Tucker Carlson interviewed, Catherine Austin Fitts. So we're going to touch on a bit of that stuff there too. So that's all interesting stuff. And check out Catherine Austin Fitts's work as well. She's really good on economics, government, corruption, and missing money. She tracks the old adage, follow the money, but she tracks all this government spending, and she's from her research, she's found $21 trillion at least that's gone missing, that she has good evidence to suggest that it has gone into all these underground bases and out into space, which is super wild. So I'm sure we'll be talking a lot about that. But yeah, so that's with my mate Nick, the Great Retardation. But yeah, so let me just get off this bloody share screen again. But yeah, so if you like what I do, like it, comment, share it, and subscribe. Please subscribe to the Arabian Pleb on YouTube, and at Arab ANCAP on Twitter or X. And then the Great Retardation on YouTube, that's with my buddy Nick. And then also go check out the Waking World podcast with Tobias Nuttall and Dale. Those guys are phenomenal. They get into a lot of occult secret society things, and then interview dickheads like me and a bunch of other really smart people that are much smarter than me. So that's very entertaining. Now, I'm probably going to wrap it up now. What I am going to do is continue to read this book. This is Not an Assault, Penetrating the Web of Official Lies Regarding the Waco Incident. This book is fascinating. And this is written by David T. Hardy, and it also says with Rex Kimball. But David T. Hardy is phenomenal. He's like a former attorney and used to be a bureaucrat as well. So he's got a lot of experience being inside the government and how all that sort of works in the United States. But he was one of the he's responsible for getting a lot of evidence released through FOIA requests, Freedom of Information requests, FOIAing the government and getting them to release a bunch of evidence that they were trying to hide from the public. And it's super fascinating. Great book on the Waco tragedy. And, if for anyone who hasn't really looked into the Waco tragedy and how fucked up it was, what the government did to the Branch Davidians and David Koresh, they effectively turned this small piece of land in Waco, Texas, and the people on that piece of land and the church that they had there into a foreign nation, and used the US military on these people and murdered, I think it was 76 people, and a lot of those people, women and children. It is disgusting, to say the least, and was so god awful, such a tragedy. But Scott Horton has done great work on this, and if I could please enjoin you, I think that's a word, enjoin, is that a word? Hopefully it is. Hopefully I sound smart with a little bit of a vocabulary. But Scott Horton, hang on, I just want to show this. I want to spruik it because it's worth a listen. So he did a 2-part podcast. Each episode goes for about 6 hours in total. I think it's like 13 hours of listening. It's quite a long listen, but it's well worth it. And what he does is he interviews David Hardy, the author of this book, and he also interviews Dan Gifford, who produced a documentary called The Rules of Engagement on Waco. Hang on, let me just find all this stuff. Okay, so this one here, the Waco Tragedy Part 1, and that goes for 6.5 hours, this one right here. And then there's the Waco Tragedy Part 2, which goes for 6 hours, so 12.5 hours in total. Or is it 12 and 3/4? Sorry, not 6.5. It's 6 hours and 47 minutes the first one, and then 6 hours and 1 minute the second one. But like the best, most comprehensive podcast. It's almost like, it's basically like an audio book, like 13 hours roughly of audio, and just going through every aspect of the Waco massacre. And leaving no stone unturned, like even all the fucked up things that you've heard about David Koresh. They really get into all that stuff. They show how a lot of it is a red herring, and sort of obfuscating from the people, the real villains of the story, and it's not to absolve. There you go, is another word. It's not to absolve David Koresh of any responsibility, but it's they're getting at the truth, right? So it's all in the spirit of just getting at the truth, and they don't avoid anything. And anyway, it's really fucking good. Check that out. And then it's because of that I'm reading this book here. This is Not an Assault. So really good stuff. I just want to show you the doco that Dan Gifford produced as well. Sorry, God, I'm fucking retarded. This is Not an Assault, is the goddamn book, idiot, Harrison. No. It's Waco, The Rules of Engagement. 1997 documentary by Dan Gifford and who was the other guy? Mike McNulty. They're the two guys. But yeah, this doco is worth a watch. Almost 3 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes, 44 minutes, and 56 seconds to be precise. But yeah, so anyone who's interested in the Waco massacre, go check that out. Check this doco out and read this book. But anyway, that's what I'm going to go do. So fucking love you all, you beautiful people out there. Thank you so much to everyone who tunes in. And again, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. All right. Peace the fuck out. Catch you cunts.